We are living in the fifth dimensional consciousness where we are creating our reality faster than we can imagine. And 95% of our lives are run and created by our subconscious programming. Imagine how your life will be when that 95% subconscious programming is set to attract, manifest, and create everything you desire. Would you like help to change yours? Join Tamra Oviatt in Living in Fifth Dimensional Consciousness here on OMTimes every week, where she will connect to the source energy and change your subconscious programming by deleting your negative belief systems. Tamra is the founder of Sacred Activations, a subconscious meta-programming process that rewires your brain and shifts hundreds of your belief systems so you can break away from lack, pain, and suffering and take control of what you want to create in your life. Tamra has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and she is here to help you too. It's not about fighting what you don't want. It's about creating what you do want. And the only way to do that is to change and upgrade your subconscious programming. Let Tamra help you create magic in your world. Join her now for Living in the Fifth Dimensional Consciousness.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Living in 5D. I have what I consider a very good friend of mine, Patricia Walls, with me today. She's absolutely incredible, a natural intuitive. She's a speaker, she's a writer, facilitator. She's absolutely incredible. And she works with light language too, which I find really fascinating. She has 3 books out. I consider her a friend. She's a practitioner of sacred activations. We talk. If I've got something going on, I'll talk to her and connect with my guides. She'll do a little guided meditation with me and help me get centered, because sometimes you're just out there, you know what I mean, and you need a little assistance. So she totally helps me do that, so I can line back up. And she just got back from Glastonbury, England, and today we're going to talk about following up, procrastination, and really why you're stuck and how you can move forward. So thank you for Patricia for coming on today. I really appreciate it. How are you, honey?
I'm great. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been watching you over, I don't know, the last 6 months. You just came out with 3 books.
Yeah. The first one was published in 2021. So yeah, I guess so. It's been quick.
Yeah. And what's the name of that book?
So the first book is Feeding the Wolf Within.
So tell me about it.
So they go in succession. So Feeding the Wolf Within is a self-help book. I guess they could all be considered self-help books, but that one is it's about clearing and why you need to, all of the aspects of it. And also there are, I think, 15 different exercises in there for clearing and connecting, healing relationships, connecting to the earth, connecting to your guides. There's just, a lot of work in there. It's a workbook of sorts. And the second one is Conscious Enlightenment and Expansion.
Nice.
And that one takes clearing and protection a step further. You could fill several books with just why you need to clear energies out of your fields and why you need to clear contracts and agreements and all the things that you work on in Sacred Activations as well. And then that second book also helps you to connect to your higher self and get your own answers, because we very often go to other people. I mean, I'm an intuitive. I do readings for people, but I really encourage people to get their own answers.
Absolutely.
Because even when you're asking me for a reading, it's still going through my filters. It's still filtered through your belief system. Some things you're not going to bring through that you should have. Correct.
Yeah. I used to make them repeat things 3 times if I wasn't getting it, so I'd get it. But now I'm lined up with that. But I totally agree. Everybody can get their own answers.
Right.
I mean, absolutely. And yeah.
I mean,
But
I
it's nice
still,
to get a guided meditation sometimes, like what I've
yeah,
called and had you do with me, so I can connect in and get my own answers. You know what I
right,
mean? Because sometimes you're just so out of space. Because a lot of times it's easy for me, I just go. But sometimes when I guess I need to defragment it, I'm just kind of scattered. It's hard to get those answers and you're not sure what is what. So
right.
it's
I mean,
important to get help,
yeah,
you
I
know?
still go, and I have a lot of, we have a huge network, you and I. And so I have a lot of what I call spiritual family who are intuitives,
Yeah.
and they do all kinds of work, but I still go and get psychic readings from people occasionally, but it's usually to verify what I already know. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we need that
You already
second
know it when
person.
you get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes we need that second person to say, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
this is what I'm seeing as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, but so this book was focused on empowerment, and pretty much everything I do is about empowerment, just like you.
Right.
I want people to learn how powerful they are and not depend on
Yeah.
other people. It's nice,
Exactly.
to have that communication, but not to depend on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're all intuitive, we're all healers, and it
Right.
is helpful, absolutely, to get some information, but we're still the ones who have to do the work.
Right.
If it
Yeah.
is listening to a meditation or sacred activations or whatever, we still have to take that time to do that work.
Right. There's the law of free will. So we still have to agree
Yeah.
to
Oh,
the
totally.
work and to the healing and to the opening and to the
Oh, yeah.
expansion. We still have to agree to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that requires support from another human being,
Yeah. Well, we're all in this together and we all have pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
There's a lot of great modalities out there and information for people in a lot of different ways. I'm
Right.
thankful I get to be one of them, but there's so many different ways to help you to tune in, to help yourself and to help others. And I think people should take a multitude of modalities. I know I did. Before I received sacred activations, I went through a lot of different trainings and I would hear, this is for your training, not what you're going to be doing. And I'd become master teacher and all this stuff thinking, and my intention was always to teach that, just like, well, not just like you, but like you do all these different modalities to help people to get in their power. And I think everybody should do that and learn from people that's already been through it. You know what I mean? And then to support you in creation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm licensed is not a good word because we don't really do licensing sometimes, but I've been trained and approved to teach 3 different systems of other people, other like yours. I'm one of your teachers, but I just choose not to give those classes because I mean, personally, and this is not to discount your teachers, but I refer people to you to learn your system. And
That's
I refer,
sweet. Thanks, honey.
yeah. And the other modalities that I'm approved to teach, I don't teach them either. I refer people to the founder of that modality, to learn it from the source. But I think it's real important.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of great teachers out there and a lot of people like to do trainings in person. So it's important to be able to have someone that can teach. But I understand you not wanting to teach someone else's modality and just really do your own thing, because you do. You help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I use the tools in my practice. I mean, it's important because in like you, it was all training for me. And when I take a class, I receive clearings from it. I receive the benefit of the class. And so, but like when I have people come for sessions, I pull on all of that training because one person that comes for a session, they may not connect with light language. And then one person may not connect with sacred activations or hypnosis. And the benefit of knowing and, having access to all of this
Yeah.
knowledge is that I can pull on that knowledge and say, okay, well, do you feel comfortable about this?
Yeah.
Because it's all about helping people, and you can't help people
Well, of course.
if they're not comfortable.
And it's adding things to your toolbox,
Right.
because I remember, this was back in 2000, maybe 2. I did a healing on my boss that had congestive heart failure. And 3 weeks later, he went to the doctors and was healed. And I kept hearing I had to change his belief systems, and I didn't know how to do that. And he got in this relationship with this wild woman, and she broke his heart, and he ended up dying of that disease. So the belief systems weren't shifted out. So when he had another trauma and heartbreak, it created that congestive heart failure, instantly for him, and he died within a few days because the belief systems weren't changed. I don't know why I'm going off on that, but that's so important to shift it, because otherwise it's recreated.
Right. And I mean, that's what we do on so many levels. We do it. I do it through hypnosis. I do it through sacred activations. I do it through emo trance and EFT. I do it just through counseling, just through talking to people using NLP. You can break down those belief systems and, and help people to see things in a different way. And, like you said, emotions contribute to our dis-ease, right?
Exactly.
And so he died of a broken heart.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
But he was like, he had a clear check with the doctor that everything was gone and he was fine.
Yeah.
But the beliefs, and I remember hearing you need to change his beliefs, and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I knew how to heal him, but I didn't know how to keep him healed. You know what I mean? So I'm so thankful I know that now. But healing's deep, you guys. You've got to change the belief systems. Yeah. So that's how I work with people, and you too, is changing the belief systems, and then the disease or whatever's going on just goes away because it's no longer necessary, because it's created by the belief systems.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I use it every day for myself too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about sacred activations. I mean, I think I was in one of your first trainings that you offered. I think that I've been a practitioner since 2012. But
that's my first class.
Right. I was in
September 2012. And then I did January.
Yeah, I was either in your first or second class. I don't remember, but I was in one of the first classes. And I use it every day for myself and for other people. And there
was only 26 activations then.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's cool that you use that. Yeah. So tell me about Glastonbury. You went to Glastonbury. I just got back from Glastonbury, and we both have this draw. I mean, it was calling me. I had to go.
Right. I've been going to Glastonbury for 14 years, and I counted my trips. This was my 14th trip there.
Wow.
I mean, I haven't gone every year, but when I first started, it was twice a year. Then it was once a year, and then it was every other year. But all together in 14 years, I've been 14 times.
Wow.
And I just keep getting called back there. It feels like home to me.
Yeah.
Glastonbury in particular. I mean, I've gone this time. I also went to Scotland. I've been to Ireland. I've been to Wales. But there's just something about, Glastonbury is my home base, and then I go visit other places from there.
Yeah.
But particularly the White Spring and the tour is, when I'm there, I walk the tour a couple of times a day. And I love to go at night. I do a lot of work at night when it's quiet.
Yeah.
And the White Spring is just incredible, just to be in that. So for those of you that don't know about the White Spring, so the White Spring is what used to be their source of water there in Glastonbury, and it's a well house. But now they have a different source of water. And so now it's become like a meditation place, and it's built into the hillside, and it is a brick building. But when I say building, it's very small.
Cave like.
Yeah, it's almost cave-like.
It's like a cave.
Yeah. So when you go in, you notice that there's water running down the brick walls onto the floor. And so when you go in, you're immersed not only in the earth, but also in the element of water.
Yeah. And
it's just the feeling in there is just amazing. And they have what they call keepers of the White Spring. So although it's privately owned, it is definitely kept up by the local people and loved and beloved and protected.
Yeah, and everybody volunteers to work there?
Right. It's all volunteers.
Yeah, and then outside there's 2 springs. You can go fill up your water bottles, one with a lot of minerals and one without.
Right. So
a lot of iron.
Yeah. So the White Spring is on what they call Wellhouse Lane. And so on the right side is the White Spring, the building called the White Spring. And on the left side is the wall, the back wall for the Chalice Well. And so normally you have to pay to go into the Chalice Well. But on that back wall on Wellhouse Lane, there is a spout where the water comes out. So a lot of people will do that. They will get water from the White Spring, which is clear water, and they'll go over to, over.
I think they call it the Red Spring.
The Red Spring is the Chalice Well.
Yeah.
And the water has an iron content, and it's actually got a red tint to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the locals drink that water every day. And a lot of times they mix it. They'll mix, the White Spring is masculine, and the Red Spring, the Chalice Well, is feminine. And so you get the marriage of both of those when you combine the 2 waters.
Yeah. Yeah. We drank a lot of water from there. My friend Wesley would go fill up bottles.
Right.
So
the locals drink that water. I mean, you'll see them come with huge containers and fill up those containers.
Yeah, and they're both on this little road, so it's not like it's difficult to go to both of them. It's easy to do both at the same time.
It's free water. It's on Wellhouse Lane. Yeah.
I used to walk by there all the time because I used to stay at a B&B a little bit of out of town because I used to go for like 6 months at a time.
Right.
I mean,
I wish I could do one. Yeah.
Oh, well, you were married. I was single at the time, so plus working online. I don't know how many years I've spent there. I would say probably 2.5 to 3. And how many days I've stayed there. I've always taken, because you're allowed 6 months. When I go over, I do my 6 months.
Yeah.
I've been over there for 8 months before, where I was or 9 months, because I was in the EU for 3 months too. Before I left. So I used up all my time and the EU and in the UK. That was like 2014, but I was going over to Turkey, the Canary Islands, all that kind of stuff. So you guys, if you don't know, Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the world.
Right.
It's very, very, very magical. I got introduced to it in 2012 and have been going back all that time, not all those years like you. And my favorite place there is the Abbey, to go walk in the Abbey. Like the tour has all kinds of stuff, the chakras and ley lines and everything else. The Abbey also has ley lines through it.
Right.
And I always head to this bench. And where the big rock is at the back, the one in the middle, if somebody's tomb or something, people say the rock's not from Earth. It's after the tomb of King Arthur.
I haven't seen that one. I know where the tomb of King Arthur is, or the gravesite.
Yeah, behind there, several, I don't know how many feet, hundreds of feet or whatever, is a huge rock. And then beyond that is a bench. I always sit on that bench. That's my bench.
Yeah, all the times that I've gone there, I never paid attention to that rock. I'll have to look. next time.
Yeah, you got to check out that rock. I saw this guy. I'm not going to mention his name. He's an author and stuff. I don't have his permission to talk about him, so I'm not going to. But every day I would see him go in and kneel at the rock and do a prayer.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm scheduled to go back next October, and so I will check out that rock.
Oh, you've got to check that out. And then behind the kitchen, there's that egg rock. Have you seen that?
Yeah, the
A lot
egg
of people
stone.
talk about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
it's called
bench.
the egg stone.
Yeah, the egg stone. My bench is my favorite place. Of course, I love the pond and everything else too. But let's talk about being stuck and not moving forward. And how do we help people do that?
Right. So, do you want to talk about, are you asking me to talk about it, or you?
No, that's your topic for today. I want to talk about that with you.
Okay. So, so for me, what I found over the years, and, you know, for me, sometimes the beings that I work with, I call them they, because it's a council. It's more than just one guide or whatever. So sometimes I will find that my life has just come to a halt. No clients, no requests to go speak or give classes. You know, it will just come to a dead halt. My creativity will be in the dumps. And I used to really regret, you know, get angry about that and, you know, want to change it. What's going on? What's going on? Why can't I? Where are my clients? What's going on? And then they explained to me that sometimes they have to take us offline so that we can focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
So there's two answers to that. One, you can work on it, you can push through it, and you can, you know, using sacred activations, using affirmations, making yourself exercise. I mean, exercise is a great tool to get you inspired, you know, to just move and be creative. You could make yourself go for walks. There's a lot of things that you could do for yourself, or you could go, you know, for counseling, or, you know,
or all the above.
all of the above. Or you could just relax into it and say, okay, they're giving me a break. They need for me to take some me time to do the things that, you know, to regenerate my body, mind, spirit, and emotions. And so there's never one answer to anything I've found. But as far as shooting past it, and I know that this sounds it's not a commercial for you, but it is a commercial for you. So when I do need to push through, I mean, you know, you didn't ask me to do a commercial for you,
no.
but you're asking me what I use. And so I do, actually. I have a library of, you know, where I've purchased activations from you over time. I have a whole library of that stuff. And so what I will do personally is I will play them, and I'll put them on zero. I mean, just where I can't really even hear them.
Yeah,
so
you don't need to.
Yeah, I'm doing it subliminally. And so I will play an entire list of your activations based on what it is that I think I need to do. And I will just put it on a very minimal sound where I can't really hear it, so it doesn't, you know, affect anything else that I'm doing, but I still get the energy. Or sometimes I'll sleep that way. You know, I'll play them while I'm sleeping, and I'll find that the next day things have shifted, things have changed. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that I do personally for myself. I mean,
it's cool, isn't it?
It is. It's like,
I mean, I didn't come up with this, you guys. It was given to me to share with you guys and to teach you.
Yeah, it's like magic. That's what I tell everybody. The other tools that I use are something called Emotrance, Emotional Transformation, and EFT that were founded by Sylvia Hartman. They're brilliant tools that I use all the time. So my go-tos are you and Sylvia Hartman.
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be on that list. With that said, we're going to go to a commercial. We will be right back. See you soon.
Okay.
And hey, you guys, a couple things before we go. At the end of this call, I am going to be doing a couple activations. And I also want to let you know that we're going to start. We want you in the audience. We want you in. And we can't do that while we're running live. And I can't pull you on camera or anything else like that while we're going live, because I can't. So if you want to be part of the live show while we're recording this, and just instead of being part of the live show, is join on my website, tamraoviatt.com, and we're going to send you out the links. It's going to be a Zoom link, and you can come in and join in. Some weeks I'm going to be doing just public private sessions and taking questions and answers and doing activations just for the audience. Sometimes I'm going to have amazing guests on, like Patricia, and sometimes I'll have public private sessions. So you can apply to be in a public private session. But if you want to be in on the live recording of this on video, is tamraoviatt.com. We will get you out the links, and I look forward to seeing you soon, very soon. We're going to start doing this on every Tuesday. Thank you. Okay, we're going to a commercial. We'll be right back.
OMTimes TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities. Do you want to go deeper into sacred activations, which is a subconscious meta-programming process? Tamra Oviatt is inviting you to visit her website at tamraoviatt.com to sign up and get lifetime access to free 7 activations that you can listen to anytime you want or as often as you need. If you like what Tamra does and like to incorporate sacred activations into your life, she also offers live webinars, masterclasses, and practitioners training to further support your healing, manifestations, and expansion. There are hundreds of activations on her website that address different aspects of your life: money, health, relationships, intuitive abilities, and more. Head over to her website at tamraoviatt.com and experience the magic of sacred activations. Thank you for listening.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. So, Patricia, I understand you have a 3rd book out on light language that you wrote with a couple other authors.
Right. So that one is Galactic Frequencies of Light. There's a, oh, there you go. There was a shine. I've got a shine going too.
You're bright and shiny, baby.
It's the glow. So Galactic Frequencies of Light. I've been doing what we call light language for actively since 2012, but basically all my life. And I didn't really know what it was until around 2012. And it's interesting because you also have an activation for a light language. And
which is one of the first 12 activations.
Yeah, so that was
2012.
really interesting because I didn't even realize, I didn't make the correlation that, I had put it as two separate things. I didn't make the correlation that you had also channeled an activation for light language until a lot later. But I was called to write this book. And as I was considering writing about the language of light, because I think there are people that have been doing this consciously for, maybe 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
But in the media, on the live stages, it's only been out there since around, 20 years. So there are two women that I call the grandmothers of light language, Dorian Light and Judy Satori. And they've been doing light language on stage with huge audiences for about 20 years. But I didn't find out about them until about 2012. And what I noticed, 2017. But what I noticed is that around 2012, a lot of people came online with this thing that we're calling light language, which is source language. It's our first language before our parents told us, no, honey, that's an apple. Before our parents told us what language what words we should be using. And as we were writing the book, I was asking questions of source because I'm like you. I walk in trust. I do whatever God tells me to do. Yeah. You and I have that and so I don't question a lot. But I knew that as I was writing this book, I had to start questioning, because I couldn't explain things to people if I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry. And so I started asking questions. So on the language of light, what they explained to me was it is our source language. It is the first language. It's the language that we spoke before we went into the Tower of Babel. And when we came out, we were all speaking different languages. That's all fine and well. And then I noticed that when I'm transmitting, and I call it transmitting light language verbally, that I may sound different from another person. And also, I do what we call galleries, where I do a group transmission, and then I do individual transmissions. And I've noticed going from one person to the next, sometimes the language or what we call the dialect changes. And so I was asking,
whatever resonates with their frequency best.
Right. And so I was asking about that so that I could explain it to people, because again, I just went, okay, God, this is what you want me to do.
Right.
But what he explained, or what they explained to me, was that, yes, it is all source language, but it's still, how did they call it? Aspects of the source language. It's still portions of the source language is another word that they used. But so when we're channeling light language, we're still channeling what is required for that person, place, or thing. Just like with activations, right?
Right.
So you're still channeling what's required. And what's required is a fractal. That's the word that they use, a fractal of the one language. Right. And Laura, one of my partners in the book, she had done a session on this one man who spoke like 7 or 8 languages. He didn't tell her that before she gave him the session. And after the session, he told her, he said, I speak 7 or 8 different languages. And he said, from your transmission, I could pick out a word here that was Japanese, a word that was Italian, a word that was French, that sort. And so that made perfect sense to us, that we are still pulling on fractals of a language, because Source told me that our one body couldn't hold that frequency of the one source. And so we're still pulling on just fractals of it.
Yeah, we're still connecting into that high frequency.
Right.
I don't even know that you could be on this planet if you were completely lined up.
Yeah. And so, so with what I did with the book was I didn't want people, I mean, I wrote 2 books before that based on my perception of life and how you clear things. But with this 3rd book, I really wanted people to have different perspectives. I didn't want them to just, there's an old saying in shamanism, listen to every word I say, but don't believe a word of it.
Right.
And so that's what I wanted to give to people. I wanted people to have 4 perceptions of what light language is and how other people use it.
Yeah, and then
And
they
that's,
could just pick out which parts resonate with them depending on,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the
And
author
that's what
says.
we ended up with. The book is full of stories and also transmissions, though, and light codes. And so just by having, and you already know this, being who you are, when you pick up a book, you will accept psychically or intuitively, unconsciously, you will accept whatever part of that book that you need.
Yeah.
And so just by picking up this book, for instance, or any of my books or your books, people
Yeah.
are going to absorb what they need
Yeah.
from. They don't really even need to
Absolutely.
read it. Yeah, they don't really
Yeah.
even have to read it. They're going to
No,
absorb
they don't
what
even
they
have to
need.
read it. They don't even
Yeah.
have to read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just having the energy of the book starts to shift them. I mean, that's
Right.
the same thing with my books, you guys. Yeah.
Right. Your books, any books. I mean, the
Yeah.
frequency
Yeah.
that
And any books, because I get told to buy books.
right.
And then I read like a paragraph, not even a chapter, and
Right.
that's it. But yet I receive the information, and I hear you receive the information in the book. You don't need to read the book. You got what you needed out of it just by having it in your presence.
Right. I was at I set up at vendor shows, different, psychic fairs and wellness fairs with the books and also the drums and the rattles and the fans. But I was at
Yeah,
one.
she's an incredible artist, you guys. Excuse me for cutting you off.
Yeah.
She's an absolutely incredible artist. I mean, if you like drums and sacred pieces to help you meditate and stuff like that. I mean, yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, sound tools. So anyway, I was there and
Sound
there was
tools.
this young man that showed up. I don't know, he was maybe 20 something. And he picked up the book and he was just holding it like this. But I knew what he was doing. And I said, you have any questions about the book? And he said, no. And he was just holding it. And I said, are you getting what you need? He said, yes. And he got this smile on his face. But it was nice, it was just a nice confirmation, that he knew that he was absorbing the information. He didn't have to buy the book. Yeah, he didn't have to buy the book. And I was happy about that.
Yeah.
Because it's about getting the information out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. You guys, you've got to check out her website. What is the name of your website, Patricia?
I have several, but patriciawalls.net. And for
spell that?
Patricia, PatriciaWalls.net.
Thank you.
And then my I have an Etsy website that has, an Etsy page that's got the drums and all of that stuff on it.
Can they get to show that again? Can they get to your Etsy page from your website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you just go to our website and then you can find her on her drums. She's an absolutely incredible artist.
Yeah.
I think you're really cool. Look at that. I think you're a really cool person.
And fans.
Nice.
So yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's really beautiful. So I want to thank you for joining me today. And
thanks for asking.
You're welcome. So one day we'll meet up again. We met up in Texas in 2013 or something.
Yeah.
When I was going through. But we keep missing each other.
Well, I hope that you decide to join us in Egypt.
I don't think I'm going to.
Oh, really?
I think I got what I got a lot of information in Glastonbury. Okay. And it was perfect for me. So I think that whole thing about me going to Egypt was to get you to go on who you're supposed to go with. Yeah. And to really get it clear in my mind, I really just needed to go to Glastonbury. Okay. And I thought it was to set up a venue, but I've decided I'm going to be teaching in Cancun in August instead of Glastonbury.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. So really the trip was truly just for me. And that's what I needed. I don't need to go to Egypt now. So I will go again in the future. I know I will.
Yeah.
But I really want to bring my granddaughter because I don't know if I'll go more than one more time. And as soon as I can get her mother to let me take her, is when I'm going. And
Yeah.
I'm going to Lake Titicaca sometime soon. I'm going to do that. Maybe May. I got a couple
Okay.
weeks off in May. Maybe. Anyways, I'm sending you lots of love. Hey guys, I promised to do an activation. I'm going to do universal light language. It was one of the first activations I got. This is really going to help you line up with your communication and really be able to trust yourself and be able to hear more. The flow will be so much easier for you. Like Patricia said, and I say, you know, it's important to be your own guru. It's important to be able to take care of yourself, but it's also important to be able to reach out and get help. And I call Patricia, she does a guided meditation for me, and I get to where I need to go. She does all kinds of other things, but she assists me in that way. I think she's absolutely amazing. So make sure and check her out. And thank you so much, Patricia. Okay, you guys, I'm going to do original light language. And what this is going to do is really change your frequency of being able to receive information. And I see these little diamonds lighting up in your DNA right now as I'm saying this, these little transmitters. So, so just go inside. It's best to close your eyes so that you're not distracted, and just allow whatever happens to happen. And this activation will continue running with you and integrating over the next 3 weeks. So during this time, I'm going to be silent. So this activation is called original light language. Okay, go inside, connect to Mother Earth. Taking a nice, big, deep breath. This energy is going to keep running with you. This is just the beginning of this. Sacred Activations is metaprogramming the human biocomputer. So as you receive this activation, it's intelligent, and it keeps rewriting the software, and it keeps expanding and changing. I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and my dear friend, Patricia Walls. Next week we have Judy Callie on, and Judy Callie she communicates with angels, and she does angel reading. She's absolutely beautiful person, and I look forward to sharing her with you. So if you haven't, please make sure you sign up at tamraoviatt.com so that you can get notices of the replays, and also if you can, join in live. Thank you so much. Have an absolutely beautiful day. Bye, everybody.
Just you and time. control.